First Corinthians, 3rd chapter. Look at verses 18 through 20.
Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise.
Let no man deceive yourself, okay? You think you may know some stuff, you think you may got some idea or some past African civilizations and the law of method and all this other stuff. You think you know the Quran inside and out. You think you may know, you know what I'm saying, all of our history of all of our great inventions and all the great things that we've done, right? He says, let no man deceive himself. How do we deceive ourselves? What?
If any man among you seems to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may become wise.
That means he's saying, listen, if you think you be wise, then this is what you do. Renounce all this stuff and become a fool. Say, I don't know nothing, so that you can be wise. That's the only way you're truly going to be wise, according to the Most High. Because you can't go, okay, I'm going to say this, right? And I'm not going to say the person name, but I'm going to say this. This has been a few years ago. I was having a conversation with this girl. She's a good girl, but she struggles with homosexuality, right? And we was going back and forth and diverse, a peaceful conversation, right? Peaceful conversation, and it was no problem. This girl still friends with her to this day, and I'm still praying for that she gets free. And so the girl said to me, I said, listen, we was going back and forth, precept upon precept, right? And she was coming up with all these different excuses about what the verses were saying, and then I give her another precept. She'll make another excuse, and then I said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and end this discussion right here. Let's go to James 1, right? Because she was talking about saying that the Most High, people are born this way, right? And so I said, okay, I got 3 more precepts for you, right? 3 more precepts, and then we're going to end it at that. And if you can't receive it after that, then that means you just don't want to hear it, right? So I gave her Leviticus, where he said it was an abomination. Then I went to James 1, when it says, let no man say that when he is tempted, that he is tempted by God. So the Most High said, if you're tempted to sin, don't say that I'm tempting you to do it. So they're saying, how in the world the Most High going to birth you to be gay, but then tell you that it's an abomination? That's a contradiction of what the Most High said, right? And then I went to Romans 1 and showed her in here that the Most High said that you went to a reprobated mind when He's already revealed His truth to you. But if you choose to go to it, you made that choice yourself. And you know what he said? She said to me, she said the writers of the Bible at that time didn't have access to the medical research that people have today that could prove that that's a gay gene to make you be born that way. The conversation was over after that. Close the Bible, okay? What you trying to tell me the Most High don't have access to what some scientists can say 2,000 years from there? All wisdom comes from the Most High. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of all knowledge. How you going to say that the Most High don't got something, but this guy that was born 2,000 years later got it, and the Most High don't? But this is what happens when you have knowledge of the world. When you sit up and say, "Hey, man, they said that the Indians they came over here from the Arctic, from Alaska, from the Baltic Strait, and walked down here. This came right." Christopher Columbus came over here and discovered the New World. Knowledge. Right? But the truth of the matter is, it was a murder and a pillage that used the Bible, the Apocrypha, to find out what the children of Israel was. That's the truth. Right? So he says, read that verse for him again, verse 18.
Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise.
All right, verse 19.
For the wisdom of this world is
foolishness
with God. For it is written, he that taketh the wise in their own craftiness.
Listen to what he said there. The wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Most High. He don't even entertain it. You got these people, these so-called scientists and so-called experts, telling you something that happened on the earth 20 million years ago, but denying what happened 2,000 years ago. Are you serious? There's no evidence that Christ died for us, but we have evidence of something that happened 20 million years ago. Are you out of your mind? The average person can't remember what happened last year. You're going to tell me but you know what happened 20 million years ago. Right? You see all these miracles and all this evidence of everything done in Christ's name, but you're denying that. But you're basing everything you believe on something that happened in a Big Bang hundreds of million years ago. Give me a break. So read verse 19 for him again.
For the wisdom of this world is foolishness.
Foolishness.
For it is written, he that taketh the wise in their own craftiness.
He's going to take that wise in your own device. It goes back to what we talked about in Proverbs 1. He says you're going to live by the fruits that you own. What you did to yourself, that's what's going to happen. Verse 20.
And again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain.
They are vain. You know the thoughts of them. Sitting around here saying, you know, there's really no evidence that the Exodus happened. There's no evidence. Well, then where all these Israelites come from? Right? There's no real evidence that the Red Sea split. Right? There's no real evidence. But there's real evidence that the Big Bang caused all of this. And every time we see something around the world, me and my dad say all the time, what a bang. The fact that a bear will eat the whole summertime, girds himself up, and go hibernate for 6 months. The Big Bang told him to do that, right? For the salmon that come up and swim up, go from out in the water to the sea, in the ocean, to come into the fresh water to lay their eggs. Yeah, they know how to get there. Yeah, the Big Bang told them to do that, right? Right? For your body to be able to heal itself, the Big Bang told your body to do that too as well, right? For the scabs that come on every time you cut your skin, the Big Bang did that too, right? Right? Give me a break. Today's lesson, knowledge versus truth. Let's go to Proverbs 3. Get ready to wrap this up. But I'm real passionate about this when it comes to our people. The so-called black man, the so-called African American in this country, because we have fought so hard as a people, right, to have access to what they call education. When really what it is it's called brainwashing, right? So you bring our kids in and you tell them, Christopher Columbus, the great man, he discovered the new world, right? And he found the Indians, right? So that's brainwashing. You tell them, these guys, the manifest destiny. It was destined for us to have this land. Brainwashing. You tell us, y'all guys was monkeys, swinging from trees. They come out with the Darwinism. Charles Darwin said the theory of evolution, where it went from a monkey to black people and then evolved to white people. People believe that. You know what I'm saying? This is knowledge. This is knowledge. But is it the truth? Right? And because we think you got communities of people that have no true access to the outside of the world. And everything they do is based on what they have been taught from generation to generation, generation to generation. And that's all they know. And that's all they're going to ever do until light comes into the dark places and shines in. Right? Proverbs 3, verse 1.
My son, forget not my law.
Forget not what?
My law.
Who?
My son, forget not my law.
The Constitution.
Forget not my law.
Okay.
But let thy heart keep my commandments.
What?
But let thine heart keep my commandments.
Keep grace.
My commandments.
Okay.
For length of days and long life and peace shall be added to thee.
Okay, so let's just think about that for a second, right? If he says forget not the law and keep the commandments, what did he say come with it in verse 2?
For length of days and long life and peace shall be they add to thee.
All right, now let's dissect this. The church and the people have told us that we don't have to have the law and we don't have to keep the commandments. Let's look at our communities. Let's look at our people as a whole. Do you see long life? No. Kids getting shot every day in the street. Do you see peace? No. Turmoil every day. Nobody knows what they're going to do. Gunshots. Okay? Do you see, what was the other promise? Length of days.
Length of days, long life, and peace shall they add to you.
Do we see that in our community? So evidently there's something missing. There's a bunch of knowledge there. They know how to cook crack. Right? Sure, they know how to go out and get this money. Right? We got all this other knowledge. But none of it is giving us length of days, long life, and peace. So evidently, we need to get back to the law. And we need to get back to the commandments. Knowledge versus truth. Verse 3.
Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them with thy neck. Write them upon the table of thy heart.
So he said, don't let mercy and truth forsake thee. That means don't let the truth of the Most High not have anything to do with you. Don't base your life off of the traditions of men. Right? Well, you know your church bylaws, but you don't know the Most High laws. Well, you know down pat what the pastor's going to say, but you have no idea what the Most High is saying. Right? He said, don't let that forsake you. Bind them around your neck and write them on the tables of your hearts. And then the Most High also says that in Jeremiah 31 and in Hebrews the 8th chapter. That was the covenant that he was going to eventually do. So we bind that truth around us. That we walk in that truth. When he says bind it around your neck, that means now you're locked into the truth. This is what you live by. Right? This is your stronghold. This is how you operate in all things. Verse 4 says what?
So shall thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man.
So that means if I'm walking in the law, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm keeping the commandments of the Most High, mm-hmm. He's going to give me length of days, mm-hmm. long life, peace, and I'm going to have favor with him and with man. So why in the world would I want to keep the law if he promised me this? But the enemy will come in and give you knowledge and tell you don't have to do these things. Therefore, as a result, there is no long life, there is no length of days, there is no peace, there is no favor, and there is no favor with God. Do you understand the difference between it now? Between knowledge and truth? Verse 5.
Trust in the Lord with all thy heart.
Only when you get sick.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart.
Only when the light bills due.
Trust in the Lord with all thy heart.
When I'm trying to find me a good man.
With all thy heart.
When I want to get my wife back.
With all thine heart.
All thy heart.
And lean not unto thy own understanding.
Okay.
In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
In all thy ways?
In all thy ways.
Just when I want to preach.
In all thy ways.
Just when I want to sing.
In all thy ways.
Anytime I need a bill paid, I'm acknowledging them.
In all thy ways.
In all thy ways. That means every decision, every choice you make must be based on the truth of the Most High and not your knowledge. Go back and read verse 5 again.
Trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not into thy own
Lean not. What the old song said? Leaning on the everlasting arm. Not your own understanding. Okay? Because your own understanding is going to get you in trouble. Your own understanding is going to put you in a situation where you think you're right. Proverbs 14:12 says, a way seems right to a man, but in the end it's destruction. So it may seem right with what you're doing, right? People on your job treating you wrong and acting crazy. It may seem right to go in there and blank. But it ain't going to seem right when that rent's due and you ain't got no job no more. Right? It may seem right to take your savings and go down to Black weekend, right? It may seem right. But when you come back and the lights is off, did it seem right then now? You understand what I'm saying? It may seem right to only put a couple of dollars in it when the collection plate go on and not pay your tithes. But when you're in a situation where you need the Most High to come through financially, you're going to understand now, man, if I had acknowledged him in all my ways and paid my tithes, I'd probably be in a position now where I have this. Okay? So if I lean not to my own understanding and do what he said in verse 6, what?
In all our ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct
And
our
then
path.
he will direct your path. Psalms 37:23 says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. That means that the Lord is not ordering your steps. Are you a good man? See, knowledge of the world will tell you you're good. But he said that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. So if Christ is not ordering your steps, who is? Verse 7.
Be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones.
Wow. So that he's telling me, he's telling me that if I do what? He said, if I don't be wise in my own eyes and I depart from evil, it's going to do what?
It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones.
So that means now it's going to be so much beneficial to who I am. Right? But if I'm trying to do this thing my own, I'm rebuking all counsel. I don't want to hear anything. Listen, I want to be African American. I don't want to step outside of society. I don't want to step outside of the thing. I just want to do what they're telling me to do, and so I can be at peace. When the Most High is saying it's time to get out of these things, it's time to walk away from this stuff, and it's trying to do what thus says the Lord. Right? So he said, if you do that, he's going to do what?
It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones.
Verse 9.
Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase.
Wow. So I do have to, it is beneficial for me to sow into the Most High, to give into the works of the kingdom, to pay my tithes and offerings, right? Right? And then he said if I do that, verse 10 said he's going to do what?
So thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine.
So knowledge said, yo, we ain't on the Old Testament no more, so I don't got to do that. That's what knowledge said. But what you don't realize is the truth of the matter is that tithing went from a commandment to an opportunity. Right? Now it's an opportunity. I tell the people all the time, now you have an opportunity to sow into the family business, which is the kingdom of the Most High. But if you don't see it as your family, if you don't see him as your father, he's just God, some big man in the sky, then you would say, hey man, what benefits are there to my tithes? And if you're in a church that ain't preaching truth, that ain't actually doing outreach and actually doing things to the work of the Most High, then don't use that as a justification not to give. That means you in the wrong place. See, that's another thing that our people do. They sit around and say, man,